All right, class, let's go ahead and get started. Let me record this. All right. Good morning, everybody. Can you guys see the board?
Not really. It's either the quality is blurry or the markers only at 8. It's either the two.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, the last chapter on statistics is about normal distribution. We'll do some part of it today. Part of it. Okay. And we'll do the last part of it next Monday. So a week from today, we will review for the final, and I will tell you about the date for the final exam the week after next. I will let you know about it on the announcements, okay? All right, as I mentioned to you, all the assignments have been posted. The only thing you have left is basically to take the final exam. So try to do all the homeworks. Okay. All right. So this section is about the normal distribution. So what is really a normal distribution? You have lots of grades here. Let's talk about test grades to make you understand it better here. Okay? So let's say your test grades are, let's make a table first to make you understand better. All right. So you have 30, 30, 30, then you have 40, 40, 40, then you have 50, 50, 50. We have to be talking about million of student scores, but I'm not going to put all of them here. Okay? 60, 60, 60, 60. Then lots of 70s. Okay? And then you have few 80s and few 90s. So these are the type of scores that would fit a normal distribution curve. Why? I got lots of scores at 70. See? Here, let's say the scores of 30, more on 40s, 50s almost the same, right? 60s more on 60s, lots of 70s, not a whole lot of 80s, and not a whole lot of 90s, right? The highest, the score that is the average is the one that you have the most. Okay? So this is a typical example of a normal distribution curve. You have lots of data at the average, okay? And then another thing is, how many data are above the average? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But actually should have more here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that means past 70, I should have 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. In other words, the number of scores below the average has to be the number of scores above the average. 70 is the average. Students who made below 70 are the same amount of students, same number of students made above 70s. If that's the case, we call that normal distribution data. And the beauty about it is it is divided in the middle, means it is, if this area is 100%, this is 50%, that's 50%, because I have the same number of data above 70 that I do before 70. Okay? All right. I just want to show you where that curve comes from. I don't want to just show you, here's the curve class. So this is the normal distribution curve right here. It has a lot of data here. This is where the average is, because you have a lot of people making that average. What else? At the average, this is where the mode, median, and the mean are the same. And the area here, the area here. So if the total area is 100%, 50% is here, and 50% is here. Okay? All right, I want you guys to copy this here because you need this before I start teaching you more about the normal distribution curve. So normal distribution means what? You have the same number of data below average as you do above the average. And the scores, the average, the mode, the median, and the mean are the same. So the total area is 100%, half of it is 50%, the other half is the other 50%. Okay? That's what we call normal distribution curve. Okay? Go ahead and copy, then I will show you how we go about it here. All right. So how does normal distribution curve works? Now that you know what's in the normal distribution curve, which is data, if you think about scores from the smallest to the largest, right? Okay. So what do we do if we wanna in statistics? We don't use these scores 30, 40, and 70. We do something, we standardize the scores. Why do we standardize them? We standardize them so that we can compare them to scores all over the world. So instead of 70 here, what we do is we give it another name, Z. So Z equals 0 means these are the scores that are average. So if somebody tells you Z equals 0 means you made 70. Here, Z is negative means what? You are what? Below average. And if this is here, Z is positive, means you're what? Above average. So every score here in statistics, we standardize it. We give it a Z name. So if I tell you I scored 70, no, you should, my Z score is 0. If your Z score is very large, means you're in the from the top student in the class. If it's negative, means you are below average. Okay. All right. Now, what else you need to know about the normal distribution curve? If let's say I tell you, you know what is the probability that you make more than 30? This is your 30, right? Which is Z negative here, right? What's the probability that you make a score where Z is larger than, let's say, negative 2.1? So this is Z negative 2.1, right? So what you do is you find the area. This area tells you the chance of you making that score. So the area in statistics is the probability. So the larger the area, the higher the probability you make. Now the total area is what? 1. That's 100%. So this will be what? The area here is 50%, 0.5, and the area here is what? Also 50%. So if I ask you, for example, what is the probability that you make a score more than 90? When you have to make 90 score, which is like, let's say 3 point something. So you're over here. That's 90, or the Z score, let's say, is 2.5. So this area, it's not very big, is it? So then you say what? You know, your chance is not that very good or whatever. So the area in a normal distribution curve tells you the chance of you making that score. But in statistics, we don't use row scores. We don't use 30, 40, or 70. We change those to a Z score. But you keep in mind that the meaning, everybody knows that if Z is 0 means you made the average score. If Z is positive, you made above average. Z is negative, you made below average. And the area of the curve is 100%. Half of it is 0.50, the other one is other 0.50. Okay? All right. We never use raw scores. All right. So you can copy this class and see if you have any questions. Okay. All right. Let me just go ahead and summarize what we learned for your class here, because this is, I don't want to really make you just kind of understand. I don't want to put the curve and say, here it is, like your book does. Okay. So this is a normal distribution curve. What's in it? The data. At the peak, that's where your average is. Z is 0. Before it, Z is negative, below average. This is above average. Total area is 1 or 100%. 50% of it here, 50% here. It's symmetric with respect to the mean. Okay? What does area mean? Area means what, class? Probability. Very important. So the more the shaded part is on the curve, the larger the chance that you will be making that score. What is Z? D is called the Z score. It's you standardize each score. We don't use the grades you make in the class. We change them to the Z. There's a program to do that. Why? That way I can compare what you made in my class to any class all around the world in that particular course. I cannot use your regular score. I have to make it Z score. So that way, if you ask somebody who taken the class in England, says, what was your Z score for the Maths 1324? It says 1.68, means it's a little bit higher than average. So, oh, mine is 0.8. See? But he made better than me because his Z score is larger. You can compare my class to his class by doing the Z score. Okay? All right. Now, there is a table in your, if you click on tables on your homework, you're going to see Z score and you see the area here. So you really need to have that table there. Okay? All right. So the table, so if you know the Z score, you know the area. What do you mean by area again? It's probability. So this table will tell you how much of that shaded part it is. Is that clear, class? So you really need to click on that table in order to answer all the questions I'm about to show you now. Okay? All right. Who has any questions about this? Is basically the summary of everything I want to explain to you. Your book goes straight and tells you this, but I really want to let you know where does this come from first. Okay? So now we can go and show you the real problem here after giving us background. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So here's the question. Okay. And if you have access to your book, it's fine. Here's the question. Find the percent area under the normal curve, the normal distribution curve, between the mean and standard deviation of negative 0.54. Whenever you see the word mean and standard deviation negative 0.4 means they're talking about the Z score. So here's my normal distribution curve, right? Z is 0 over here, right? This is the mean at the peak. Where is negative 0.54? Right here. So I'm talking about this area because Z is negative over here, remember, on the left side of it. So how can I find that area or the probability? Now remember, when the Z is negative 0.54, it's the same thing as the Z positive 0.54 because they're symmetric. So you go to the table. If you have access to your computer now, you can. The table that shows you what? Z and the area. So look for the Z when it's 0.54, and you're going to find the area to be, let's see, let me look at the chart here. Just give me 1 second. If any of you have the computer in front of you, and if you can click on the table, I'm going to go ahead and look it up for you. Area. It's 20, it'll be 0.205. And that will be the answer. So all you got to do here is look up the area from the table. That means the chance of somebody making a grade of negative 0.5, a little lower than the average, is about 20%. So the table is very easy to read, class. The table doesn't give you when Z is negative. When Z is negative, for the Z positive, the whole thing is what? 0.5. So I subtract 0.5 minus 0.22. That will give me 0.28. Now I look at the table. Here's the Z score, here's the area. So I look, whenever I see 0.28, what is the area? And that will be my answer. But keep in mind, the Z is going to be negative here, right? But it doesn't really matter if it's negative or positive. Why? Because the area is the same. Okay? So this is where you start working backwards. Now, the word problems for this chapter, I am not going to really touch it today. I just want you to go to your homework and practice how you read the table. Okay? All right. Keep in mind, the area is the probability that you make that score. Z is 0, that's average. Z is positive, above average. Z negative, below average. Okay? For example, so what we're going to be doing next week. Next week, we'll say that here's an exam we're going to be doing next week. Let's say nationwide, the average SAT score is 1,200. It says if I come to a high school in Houston, what is the chance that students would score between 900 and 1,500? We can get that answer. See? Or we're going to work a problem like this. The average sales of Best Buy nationwide is $5 billion. What is the chance that if we come to a store at Best Buy in Houston, what is the chance that store makes between 3 billions and 7 billions? Okay? These are the type of problems that we're going to be dealing with next week. Okay? All right. So just to be sure everybody understand, hopefully everybody who's watching here took 3 exams, right? Be sure you check the grades on Canvas. Be sure you have 3 exam grades posted on Canvas. You're not missing any of them. Okay? All the assignments are there. The only thing that is not on Mastering Lab is the final exam. Okay? So next Monday, I will finish word problems on this. And a week from today, I will review for the final exam. But it'll be good if you guys can bring me questions from the review that you did this weekend. Okay? All right. So if you guys have no questions, I will see you guys next Monday to finalize the lesson. So the good news is we finished the whole material class. We're not behind at all. Okay?
I have a question, Professor.
Go ahead.
Is the final exam with lockdown browser and webcam?
I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted. I'm checking with my department first.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, everything, all of the news about final exam, just stay tuned for the announcements, okay? We'll do that.
Okay.
And then you posted also exam review. So exam will be exactly like a review, right?
That's very good. Very good. Yeah.
Mm. And then
So, unless you like me to make it different, it's up to you.
I'm okay. I mean, we had this.
Okay, I'm just joking.
What is the date for final exam?
I'm sorry, what?
When is final exam?
Yeah,
date?
I will keep you posted this week. It's watch for the announcements. I have to check the department. Want to be sure you're not going to be getting like 2 days like regular exam. I have to check with the department. I want to be sure it doesn't conflict with your other exams. So stay tuned for this weekend announcement. They will tell you everything you need. Read the announcement on Canvas this weekend. It'll give you all the news. Okay?
Also, question in these examples on the board, from where we got the 5? How we know?
Because this is half of it right here. 50% of it right here.
Mm.
Yeah. So you got to subtract from 5 because remember it's symmetric. That's why to get this deed, in other words, the way they got this is by taking away the 0.28 from 0.50 from the 0.22.
And then also,
50% here, 50% here. Yeah, go ahead.
they will provide the table for it. Like we will.
On the final,
No, I mean, where can we look for the table?
yeah, when you this is a good news for you guys. Investing Lab does a good job. When you solve the problem, they make it so easy for you. They only give you like only few numbers from the tables that are close to what the answer is. They're gonna make you look at the whole table.
Oh,
You understand? Yeah.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. There's a problem underneath the line say, click here for the table. You click on it, it'll give you the area for the Z school. And they don't give you like 5-page table that normally it is. They're nice. They only give you the ones that in your that are related to your problem. Okay?
I got it. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
you
then-
know what I do when I assign homework. I look at the homework that way you guys don't have any question. All right, guys. The semester is almost over. Make me proud. You all been doing well so far. We survived the freeze. We survived Corona. Now let's survive the final exam. You gonna make me proud?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Let's do well. So to make the review effective next Wednesday, it's a good idea for you guys to have questions ready for me. If you don't have questions ready for me, then I'm going to choose the tough problems from the review and I do it myself. But I prefer you guys bring me some questions from the review for final exam from Canvas and have them ready for me for next Wednesday. They will be better. Okay? But I'm not going to make the lecture say, oh, goodbye. You don't have any questions. No. If you don't bring me questions, I will make questions. Got it?
Okay.
All right. You guys have a good day and good job on your work.